Have you reached the conclusion that your marriage is over and yet you're still questioning the decision? Or maybe you're worrying that maybe you didn't try hard enough to save your marriage and you were too hasty in pronouncing it dead. Or perhaps you're feeling guilt around your decision to divorce, especially as you think about the ripple effect that it will have on others. Now, I can't reassure you that you did everything that you could. And I also cannot tell you that you should have done more. Only you know the particular culture of your marriage, the efforts that you put forth, and the responsiveness or lack thereof from your ex. But maybe what I can do is help provide you some clarity in your decision. Now, first, just the fact that you are stressing about this is a sign that you are giving this the attention that it deserves. It says that you take your commitment seriously and that you have empathy for the impact that your decision is going to have on others. Furthermore, by wondering if there was more that you could have done, you're showing personal responsibility, and that is an admirable trait. Yet, even though that questioning is really a sign of consideration and character, that constant internal barrage of what ifs can absolutely drive you crazy. And this is especially true in the immediate aftermath of divorce when everything is worse than it was before. And that constant doubt can actually hold you backwards because it's keeping you focused on the what ifs instead of allowing you to move forward. Now, the decision to divorce is rarely clear cut, so it's no wonder that you're feeling confused. And this is especially true when you're unable to reach a mutual decision to divorce, and the responsibility for proclaiming the end rests entirely on your shoulders. Maybe you have spent years trying to get your partner to engage, and they refuse to put forth any effort. Maybe you have endured abuse, whether it be physical or emotional or financial. Perhaps your partner is okay with a mediocre life, but yet you desire more. Regardless of your situation, your sphere of influence only travels so far. You can make changes within yourself. You can have conversations with your spouse about what you want the marriage to look like. You can ask for changes, suggest ideas, or implement new strategies, but you cannot do all of this alone. If you're not satisfied with your marriage and your partner is refusing to work with you, you ultimately have only three choices. One, you can stay in the marriage and accept your partner as they are. Two, you can stay in the marriage and continue to be unhappy. Or three, you can leave. Now, I like to compare these choices to what happens when your bicycle breaks down. So if one tire is a little bit flat, the other one can help support the weight until that tire can be reinflated. If one rim is a little bit bent, well, you can still ride. It may not be perfect, but you can make do until you're able to hammer that wheel back into shape. But if one entire wheel is missing, that bike cannot function as it is. And it's time to either find a new bicycle or learn how to ride a unicycle. Now, here's a painful truth. Even if the decision to divorce was the right move in your case, you're not necessarily going to feel good about it. The right thing is rarely the easy thing. And this is especially hard when we know that our decision is going to hurt others. Now, for parents, it is impossible to separate your decision to divorce from the impact that it has on your kids. And I know you may be wondering if perhaps you should have stayed in the marriage and just suffered unhappily, quietly, for the sake of the kids. So often this is presented as a too simplistic choice. Either stay and it's good for the kids or leave and it's bad for the kids. But it's not that easy. Both options have potentially detrimental impacts. Yes, divorce is hard for children, and so is staying in a home with parents that are constantly fighting or unhappy. So make the decision that you need to, and then do everything you can to support your children. Now, it is especially common to question the decision to divorce in that initial year following separation. And that's because this is such a difficult time for everyone, a time of dismantling and demolition. And from that vantage point, it can seem like the decision was made recklessly because the marriage doesn't seem so bad when you compare it to the current situation. Now, be patient and compassionate with yourself during this transition. The temporary struggle is not a reflection of the integrity of your decision to divorce. Now, some of the most difficult divorce decisions come when you still love your partner, but yet you cannot be with them for one reason or another. And that's a very difficult and painful truth, that just because we love somebody doesn't mean that that person is good for us or that we are good for them. And it's true. Sometimes the greatest love is letting somebody go, even when that release can hurt like hell. Now, as you move forward with greater wisdom and self reflection, you may indeed recognize that there are things that you screwed up in your first marriage. And you can allow this to solidify into guilt and regret. Or instead, you can promise yourself that you will never allow those lessons to go to waste.